All right, there's something very important that's fixing to happen tonight that's gonna have a huge impact on all of our lives. We will not be able to get anything after this. What's going on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast after midnight?
Oh, wait.
After midnight tonight.
October.
The dock workers, the longshoremen are going on strike. So there will not be any ships that are unloaded until they come back off strike. So we're not getting stuff. The West Coast is still working.
Why are they going on strike?
Because they want, well, let me show you this.
I didn't know that was a union.
Yes,
Yeah, you didn't know that. You got unions for everything.
everything's a union.
The teachers part of the union.
No, teachers, there are some,
Y'all could be part of it.
there are teachers unions up north, and all they do is go on strike for more pay and less work. We don't take.
Yeah, we were talking about it last year. Y'all could go.
I will never, ever join a teachers union, ever. We get paid. I mean, I have a brand new truck, I have a brand new house, I have to watch my weight, and I do this for a living. I am not gonna go on strike, cause how's that help y'all? That's stupid, going on strike. Well, we go to work and see what happens.
And if you're in the union, you ain't really got a choice.
Yeah.
Somebody goes on strike.
This is October 1st. 25,000 dock workers from Boston to Houston. It involves, let's see, where is it at? Boston, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Norfolk, Wilmington, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Mobile, New Orleans, and Houston. Every port, major port on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. There's two things. They
Teachers,
want more money.
please make sure you have posted attendance. Thank you.
They want a $5 an hour increase. And the big thing, that could be done. They could negotiate that. The big thing, which this probably cannot be negotiated, is they don't want their jobs replaced by fully automatic equipment. They're worried about their jobs being replaced. In the West Coast, dock workers got a 32% raise in their contracts. The West Coast is different than this. Where'd he go?
Did the West Coast do a strike?
No, I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I'm sure they have before. But they already have a lot of automation going on on the West Coast, but not as much on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. The shipping industry, backed by research at UC Berkeley, has made the argument that automation is helping ports stay competitive and handle more goods, which in turn creates high demand for highly skilled workers. So you need like computer people, data people to make that work. But that doesn't help if you're a longshoreman and you unload the stuff. That doesn't help you. You have to go back to school and get stuff. So they don't want that to happen to them. So I don't know when that would get fixed. In the meantime, we would have less access to stuff. Kind of like when all that COVID crap happened, they couldn't find stuff. That's not the same kind of stuff. All right. There's a huge story last Friday about immigration.
About what?
Immigration. More than 13,000 immigrants convicted of homicide, not charged with, convicted, are living outside immigration detention in the U.S., ICE says. Not the Trump campaign, but the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency of the government. The immigrants are part of ICE's non-detained docket, meaning the agency has some information on the immigrants and they have pending immigration cases in the U.S., but they are not currently in detention. And that's just the people they know about.
So there's ISIS.
No, ICE is a government
Oh,
agency.
ICE. I thought
Immigration and Customs.
It's like ISIS? We're allowing 13,000 convicted ISIS members?
No. It's not clear when the first fighting of the 13,000 crossed into the U.S. High number of non-detained immigrants with criminal convictions is not new, though it has grown in recent years. The 2016 DHS, Department of Homeland Security, Inspector General's report found there were 368,000 criminal immigrants who were not detained by ICE. So that means 300+ thousand criminals in another country coming here that they know of. According to ICE's fiscal year 2023 budget justification, there were 405,000 convicted criminal immigrants on the non-detained docket as of June 5th, 2021. And as of July this year, there are 435,000 convicted criminal immigrants on ICE's non-detained docket.
Go with that.
Now, yeah, it's going up. Now, is that good? No, because the number's bigger than that. It's just the ones they know about. And this is why I want the border secured, is for this kind of stuff. Is human trafficking a problem?
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna be political here. And I'm not trying to be biased, I'm just being honest. What was one of Vice President Harris's titles? She's President of the Senate, she's Vice President, she was named something by President Biden.
First black woman.
Czar, border czar, meaning she is in charge of the border. She oversaw the border these past 4 years. She went twice. One of those times was Friday to celebrate her achievements at the border. But they're
I
not.
saw a video, sorry to interrupt.
Awesome.
I saw a video yesterday. Somebody's in a forklift now to lift up the razor wire that the army put down to stop the immigrants. Raise it up for them, let all of them in and put it back down.
And you're not gonna see on any Harris campaigns these numbers. They're not gonna broadcast these numbers. Under my watch, here's what happened. I'm not gonna do
They can tell the truth, or whatever the truth they want.
that.
Does the president of Kansas have to tell the truth?
What's what? No, they don't. None of them do.
No.
Because we would have to pay attention to that. We don't pay attention to that.
So if you're running for president, you just lie about everything.
Oh, you can lie about it. Now, you could not call your opponent something. You couldn't say my opponent is a rapist or a criminal. You could say they do criminal things. You couldn't call them a criminal. That's still
Unless they're
in place.
convicted.
That's the, it's unless they're convicted. There are the 13,099 immigrants convicted of homicide living in the U.S. may have never had contact with ICE. Some may have crossed the border and then been released because Border Patrol lacks the information on their criminal history. So, it's a lot of junk. Give me just a second.
You got tissues in here?
I don't. You can go grab some.
Like an actual box of tissues? Or?
Yeah.
Where would I get some? Maybe Coach K has some.
Okay. Another thing. Israel did something late last week and something else today, or yesterday or today. Did y'all hear about the Hezbollah leader? You won't hear anything else about it because Israel got the guy that founded it and the leader of it Friday. He's gone. They also took out the Hamas leader that works with Hezbollah to coordinate stuff. So they're taking off the leaders pretty quick. They still haven't invaded with ground troops. But they're taking out the leadership, so it's kind of chaotic. Y'all remember the capital of Lebanon, I told you last week?
Big idea by initial.
Beirut. Just when you hear Beirut, that's all this we're talking about. You hear something about Beirut, that's the capital of Lebanon. Okay, we're gonna have a chance to do good Friday. We're gonna have a quiz tomorrow. The quiz will be over the questions and the checks and balances that we're gonna do today. I'm gonna get you a review, all right? I'm gonna get you a review sheet today to kind of help you out. So today we're just gonna do checks and balances. Get out a piece of paper, or you can write it on the questions somewhere if you want. Yes. I'll find a better spot. A lot of people.
I got it after the game.
Yeah.
Huh?
Who'd you get it from?
Coach Richard's class.
Wow.
I know. I was surprised he had some.
There was one time I bought some stuff, some of these. I never think about tissues.
I should have put it on your syllabus. We could have gotten you some.
What's a syllabus? Mine's in college.
The teacher tells you what is hard to have.
Yeah. I have one of those somewhere.
Did you get a piece of paper?
Oh, quote. Quote this week is from John Maxwell.
I gotta open it up my head.
There's 13 words, 3 we's, 2 go's, and 1 it. So this is nothing.
Who's this from?
John Maxwell. So don't skip this. There's 13 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are 2 letters. That's it.
Whoa.
God chooses what we go through. We choose how we go through it. God chooses what we go through. We choose how we go through it. We choose how we go through it. My outlook on life is a choice, not a reaction. Kind of something like that. All right, we got 3 branches.
Judicial, legislative, executive.
All right. You got legislative. You got executive. You got judicial.
I don't know how to get around.
What have you been taught all your life about these 3 branches? They are blank but blank. Blank but blank.
Unified but different.
The states?
All your life you've been taught that these 3 branches are blank but blank.
Strong but weak.
I don't remember what I learned.
What did y'all learn the first year about the separation of powers? What does that?
It's there to protect.
Federalism. We have separate powers. What have you been taught about the legislative, or not the legislative? These 3 branches. They are blank but blank your whole life.
Separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
Blake said that at the beginning.
Oh, I didn't hear it. You gotta say it loud. Okay.
I was like, what? I thought that was it.
Separate but equal. That's a lie.
It's okay, Blake. I heard it.
They are separate, but they're not equal at all.
They're not.
Not equal. The legislative branch writes the laws.
Judicial interprets the laws.
Judicial does interpret.
The executive is just there.
Executive carries out the laws.
So enforces them.
Yes. Did you get those questions? Now, the president doesn't have any power. The president can lie to you on any commercial and say, I'm going to do this, this, this. The president cannot do anything unless Congress goes along with it. Okay? The president cannot write a check. The president cannot spend money. Congress is the only ones that can spend money.
They should also get the pay raise.
Yeah, but they don't give themselves,
They vote for a pay raise.
but they only make like 180 grand. Yeah, only. That's what their jobs would be like 180 grand if they had regular. So Congress passes a law saying here is $2 billion to help secure the border. The president gets to decide, how do I go about doing that? That's the power the president has. Sometimes they might say you have to use this money for this, but whenever they pass a law or a program, the president is the one implementing. I told you the first year, Coach Cook was hired to score touchdowns. He gets to decide how to score touchdowns.
You get to do it.
The school board doesn't say you're going to run this offense. They say you have to score touchdowns, and the president or the coach decides here's how I'm going to go about doing that. The president can decide how they go about scoring touchdowns, but their job is to score touchdowns.
What would our job be
You would be the border patrol who carries out the president's orders of how to score touchdowns. Yeah, you're ICE. You're the border patrol. You're
then? Yeah. Yeah, Coach Coach.
Now, these branches have powers over each other to help keep each other. So the legislative branch, they can override a presidential veto. They can override a presidential veto. So what branch is that a power over?
The executive.
The executive.
So like the executive is the only one that can veto, but if the legislature decides it's unfair, they can say no.
With
Veto
a
the veto?
with a 2/3 vote.
Oh.
So this does not happen. Very, 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 very rarely will it happen. The last one I remember was one of the dumbest government things that ever happened. President Obama vetoed a bill from Congress and they overrode it. Democrats. Why does this never happen?
Because they can never get together.
Well, you'd have to have a bunch of people go against their party's president.
Yeah.
This bill said that the American public could sue terrorists. Like, you killed my mom, so I'm going to sue you.
Emotional damages.
Where would that take place?
Civil court.
Where would you have that?
Well, it depends. Civil court if it's just you.
Okay.
If the state decides to sue you.
Well, let's say it's in America.
America against terrorists?
So I'm going to sue Ahmed in Iran.
In civil court.
Okay.
They're not gonna come to court.
Exactly.
Oh.
They're not going to come. They don't care.
Feel.
Or we're going to have it in international court. Ooh, once again, who's going to show up for that? Nobody. So it was a waste of time. It was done in October. So what did that mean? Right now, this is October. What's fixing to happen?
Fair.
It's happening. It is fair. It is fair right now. What's fixing to happen in a month?
The elections.
Elections.
What are our
So they did it on an election year to make themselves look like they care about the American people. President Obama vetoed that. Said this is stupid. I'm going to veto that, and they overrode that veto.
So I can sue a terrorist?
You can sue a terrorist.
Dude, let's go.
So that's you can spend all kinds of money suing a terrorist that won't be there.
Your Honor, I swear it was going to be.
Your Honor, what would you do with the courtroom bill right now? What would you do?
The legislative branch
Guilty.
can also approve or not presidential appointments.
You know you're gonna pay out of pocket.
Who does the president appoint?
The vice president.
No, not anymore.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
They do,
Yeah,
but
they can appoint vice
cabinet members. They do that before the election. They appoint cabinet members.
Am I tweaking? I thought you couldn't choose your vice president anymore.
You can. You used to couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Now you can.
I thought the vice president used to be whoever.
The second
was-
place person.
Yeah.
But when now the president's in office, they get to pick cabinet members, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. They also get to pick
Department of
federal
Agriculture.
judges and federal Supreme Court justices. So who is this a power over? The executive. They also get to approve or not judges that the president. However you spell that.
So wait, the executive can approve of the VP or no?
Yeah, the president picks the vice president for the election.
Legislative.
No. Legislature has nothing because they're not president yet. I pick you to be my vice president.
Thank you.
Now we run as a team, and I win the election. Legislature doesn't have anything to do with people running for president.
So the executive can pick the people of the Senate.
You government. No.
Not the Senate.
Here.
I'm dying.
Okay, there's certain positions in the government that once the president's elected, they get to pick their team members.
Okay.
And let's say I pick Lane Lloyd, my best friend, to be Attorney General.
Okay.
He's the top prosecuting attorney in the country. Congress will the Senate will look at Lane Lloyd and ask number one question: where did you go to law school? I never went to law school. Okay, how many cases have you tried? I've never tried a case. So they would deny his appointment to be attorney
They
general.
have the right to deny who you pick.
Yes. They check and make sure that they can handle that job.
You have to have a viable
Yeah, to make sure I'm not just hiring a bunch of weirdos doing stuff. Now, when the president appoints judges, they can also say yes or no to that. What branch is that a power over? Judicial. All right, let's look at the president, the executive. Yes. The executive branch can veto bills. What branch is that done to?
Legislative?
Yes. Legislative writes the bills. Can I ask? I got a pen. It's a pretty good one, too. Good catch.
Thank you.
The executive branch also gets to appoint government. Let's do this. Let's say judges. What branch is that done to? Judicial. How'd you get that? That's amazing. Is that very tough? Because judges is the judicial. Now I want you to look at this right here so far. Are these equal branches?
No.
How not? You're right. The powers the legislative has. Can the president do anything to undo those? No. Can the legislative undo the powers of the president?
Yes.
They can override the veto, but it doesn't happen. They can say no to these judges. It's not. That's why I said they're not equal. They're not equal. But the president does have powers. The president can veto bills. They're not going to do this very often, but that is a power the president has. Now we look at the judicial branch. The judicial branch can do judicial review. Now, y'all have talked about this before in other classes, but Colson, you with us? Colson? Lost, come on. Stay with us. It's just 9 o'clock. You slept at least 4 hours. Y'all have heard of judicial review, but it wasn't on TikTok, so y'all don't remember it. Anybody know about judicial review? What branch is doing this? Judicial. This is where they can look at an action of government. And I say action of government. It could be something the president does. It could be something, a law that was passed. And they can declare something about it. They can look at something Congress has done, look at a bill that was passed, look at a law that the president signed, and say, this is what? Unconstitutional. They can declare it unconstitutional. And what branch is that done to? Could be legislative, could be executive, could be both of them. If it's a law, it's both of them. If it's something the president did, then it's the executive. Can this be undone? No. So who's the most powerful branch of government? Judicial. And in the past, I've always been able to look at y'all in the eyes and say, it's a good thing the judicial branch is the most mature and responsible branch we have. They're not political. They don't usually get mixed up in political decisions. But
That's actually necessary.
in the near future, whatever, in the recent past, is what I was trying to say, the Supreme Court has become more and more political. More and more, okay. They're put there by conservative presidents and liberal presidents. So if you're a conservative president, what kind of justice are you going to put on the Supreme Court? Conservative. If you're liberal, you put liberal on there. And what has happened in the past is they've gotten on there and they don't always act like you think they would act. They don't always vote the way you think they would vote on stuff. But increasingly it's become more and more partisan. More and more, I'm a conservative judge, I'm a liberal judge, so I don't care what's there, I'm going to vote this way on it. They've turned more political, which I don't think is good for us. But anyway, this is the most powerful branch that we have.
Could it also impeach the president?
Come on. The legislative branch has the power to impeach president or executive branch officials.
How do you spell impeach?
I am Peach. P-E-A-C-H. They can impeach executive branch members and judicial branch members.
They can impeach the president, right?
Yes. And like cabinet secretaries. Because the House was talking about impeaching the Homeland Security person because of the border stuff. You cannot impeach, okay, I used to say this. Yes, you can impeach someone because you don't like them. The last 3 or 4 years is the only times I could have said that. You can only impeach someone because they've broken the law. I have a feeling that every single president in the near future is going to be impeached because that's turned into a tool they're trying to use. And that's not good. You're not supposed to impeach someone because you don't like them.
Was it Clinton impeached?
Clinton was impeached because he lied under oath. Trump was impeached because they thought in a phone call abuse of power is what he was impeached of. And they found that he was not guilty of that.
So he was impeached without being guilty?
Well, that's fine. If there's that phone call, there was a question whether or not he said, if you'll do this, we will keep giving you funding. And if that happened, that is illegal. You can't do that. Was
34 felonies.
Yeah, what were all the felonies that they said?
that's separate. That's not impeached. That's
And go to jail.
that was like
That's trying to get him off the road.
yeah.
Did he actually have all those
What's that?
documents?
I know he had documents. Biden also had documents. I'm not saying one's good and one's bad, but
They didn't find it signed documents too.
do what? Yes. He didn't get in trouble for it.
Oh, I thought that was all that.
Well, yeah, no, but nothing happened with it. Yes. So, there have been, judges get removed and judges get impeached way more than presidents do. But that is a power the legislative has. Impeach doesn't mean remove you from office. Impeach means to accuse you of something. Clinton was found guilty, but because the economy was great and it was only sex, and you're supposed to just have sex all the time wherever, doesn't matter. That's what our country has told us. That's what's supposed to happen. In the past, that was not supposed to happen, but now, who cares? The economy's good. So he was found guilty, and they told him he couldn't work anymore. They took his law degree away. So now he just has to go around making $250,000 a speech. He's not allowed to practice law anymore. So that really hurt him. That really.
Go to trade school.
Yeah. Clinton back 98.
Like Hillary's?
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary's husband. Yes, if that's what they're called now. I don't know what.
I don't know.
Oh,
Usually you have a relationship, and I don't know. So on Friday, we're gonna have a chance to do good in the first 14 questions. Actually, there's 7 statements, and I will have something like blank vetoes bills,
Executive.
and you're gonna tell me, okay, the executive does this to who? To the legislature. Blank appoints judges.
Executive.
The executive does this to judicial. This answer is always going to be in the statement. If it's blank blank to the president,
Executive.
it's executive. Judges is judicial. The only one that doesn't is vetoes bills. That's the only one that doesn't have the answer, but bills are written by the legislature. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
So let me give you this little review sheet here. And you can, this is really for the chance to go, but you can use it tomorrow on the quiz if you want to.
Like, you didn't realize I'm not a single bell ring or decision.